Part 1, The First Watcher. Chapter 1. People always ask when the world ended. They're expecting a date, a headline, an explosion, a city burning. But the truth is, the end of the world didn't begin with panic. It began with silence. Nobody noticed the first one. Why would they? He wasn't attacking anyone. He wasn't screaming. He wasn't covered in blood. He simply stood outside a house, watching. Police assumed he was a trespasser. The neighbors thought he was drunk. The family inside never even knew he was there. At 6:14 that morning, he walked away. 3 days later, everyone in that house was dead. Or at least, that's what the report said. The medical examiner called it cardiac arrest. The oldest daughter was only 17. The father was healthy. The mother had no medical history. The youngest son was never found. Then another video surfaced. A security camera in Arizona. A woman standing outside an apartment building, motionless. She never once looked away from a third-floor window. She stayed there for 7 hours. When the sun came up, she turned around and disappeared down the street. The tenant in apartment 304 quit his job 2 days later. Neighbors said he stopped talking. He stopped answering his phone. He covered every mirror in his apartment. Then one night, he walked outside. No shoes. No coat. No expression. Security cameras caught him crossing the parking lot. He walked to another apartment building, stood beneath a bedroom window, and waited. At first, everyone believed it was another internet challenge. People filming themselves standing outside strangers' homes. Until hospitals began reporting the same symptoms. Patients complained they couldn't stay awake. No matter how much they slept. They felt exhausted. Blood tests came back normal. Brain scans looked normal. Everything was normal. Except one thing. Every patient claimed they had the exact same dream. Standing in complete darkness. Unable to move. While someone watched them from just beyond the edge of the light. Every night, the watcher stood a little closer. No one could ever see its face. But everyone knew. It was smiling. The government denied any connection. They blamed stress. Social media. Mass hysteria. Doctors repeated the same advice. Get enough rest. Reduce anxiety. Limit screen time before bed. By then, millions had already seen the videos. Entire neighborhoods waking up to strangers standing outside their windows. Not breaking in. Not speaking. Just watching. Some remained there until sunrise. Others vanished moments before police arrived. No fingerprints. No footprints. No DNA. Nothing. It was as if they'd never been there. My name is Ethan Carter. I'm 34 years old. I've spent most of my life behind the wheel of a truck. Long-haul deliveries. Food. Medicine. Construction equipment. If it needed moving, I'd probably hauled it. People think truck driving is lonely. They're right. Weeks away from home. Endless highways. Truck stops that all look the same. Coffee that tastes like burnt water. Conversations with strangers you'll never see again. You learn to enjoy silence. At least, I used to. When the reports first started, I barely paid attention. News stations exaggerate everything. Every few months it's another disaster. Another reason to panic. Another thing we're supposed to fear. I kept driving. Kept making deliveries. Kept sleeping in the cab whenever I got tired. Nothing happened. Not at first. 3 weeks later, the emergency broadcast started. Every radio station. Every television channel. Every phone. A calm voice repeated the same message. Remain indoors after sunset. Avoid sleeping near uncovered windows. Report any motionless individuals observed outside residential buildings. There was no explanation, no details, just instructions. Truckers laughed about it over the CB radio. One guy said his ex-wife had been standing outside his house for years. Another joked that he'd finally found a neighborhood quieter than his own. People always laugh first. That's what we do when something scares us. The laughter stopped when Rick disappeared. Rick Donnelly had been driving for 26 years. Everyone knew him. Big guy. Gray beard. Always carried homemade beef jerky. He checked in every night around midnight. Didn't matter where he was. You'd hear his voice. Then one night, nothing. The company tracked his GPS. His truck was parked at a rest area off Interstate 81. Engine still running. Doors locked. Wallet on the dashboard. Phone charging. Coffee still warm. Rick was gone. The security cameras showed something impossible. At exactly 2:17 a.m., Rick climbed out of his truck. He wasn't running. He wasn't confused. He looked calm. He walked across the empty parking lot, stopped beside the tree line, and stood there, completely still, facing the forest. At 5:58 a.m., he walked into the trees. No one has seen him since. After that, drivers stopped sleeping alone. Truck stops became crowded. People parked side by side. Some kept every light on. Others drank enough coffee to stay awake for 2 days straight. Nobody wanted to admit they were scared. But everyone was. Because every morning, someone else was missing. And every missing driver left behind the same thing. An untouched bed. A locked door. And security footage, showing them willingly walking into the darkness. I wish I could tell you I listened to the warnings. That I stayed with the others. That I never drove alone again. I wish I could say that. But the job paid by the mile. And I had bills to pay. So on October 14th, I accepted one more overnight delivery. A 12-hour drive through the mountains. No partner. No convoy. Just me. And 600 miles of empty road. Looking back, I think that's when it chose me. I just didn't know it yet.